Today we're out at the Hooper-Renwick Library. We're going to do a quick tour showing you guys the status of construction. We are standing where the old black and white photograph taken sometime in the 1950s is taken from, and we're going to restore the front of this building to what it looked like in that photograph. So we are taking out the old bricked-in windows. You can see right here they have the first three windows open. So these three windows formed one classroom, and then you can see the next three windows were a classroom, and then the three beyond that were another classroom. So you have three classrooms right here before the center door into the building. And there were doors at each side of the school. So right here you had a door, and some of the students lived in the homes that were on this hill right here, and they would enter the school. They tell some great stories about going in this door. The corridor was, of course, a big part of their school. And if you think back to your elementary school, and if you've gone back, that corridor was so big when you were little, and it is a lot smaller as you get older. So you can see the center corridor right here, and we are going to keep that as part of the library design. We've taken advantage of the complete old school, so pretty much the entire space of the old school will become the library. We are in the back of house right here. This first window is going to be in a break room for the library staff. So that is the only part of the school that will not be available to the public. But other than that, the building is wide open from one side to the other. So we are standing at the back wall to the workroom and looking to the other side of the library. So we are in the children's area right now, and then each of these openings on your right will lead into the learning labs. So there's a music production studio, a video production studio, there's a maker space. Down on the far end are quiet study rooms, and sort of right here in the center of the frame is where the teen space will be. So they'll have their own dedicated space, and then each of these openings will have glass enclosures with glass doors into them. So what we're trying to do is keep some of those old windows that the school once had, and then we're going to define each of the classrooms with stripes on the floor, so that if you wanted to go through and find the old second grade classroom, you'd be able to do that. And part of that is we're down the center corridor, we're gonna have numbers outside each of the old classrooms. So we'll have a 1 outside the first grade classroom and a 2 outside the second grade classroom. The ceiling is just fantastic. I think that's going to really be a defining feature of the building. So right in front of us is the actual entry into the library. There will be a sliding glass door, and you'll walk through this opening right here. We're using the same portals type design that we did at the Norcross Library. So you will enter through a portal right here, and then we've defined activities with those portals. So the portal signifies an activity, and then we are also using some color theory where the brighter colors will be in the children's area, so more energetic, and then the cooler colors will be in the adult areas, a little more lethargic, or adults a little more quiet. So that'll be the kind of inside the library. Over here is the wall that faces Neal Boulevard, and you can't see it from the inside, but there are 2 windows right in front of you that will be opened up. But we don't have any lighting in the space right now, and there is already a lot of nice natural daylight. So we're walking now, we're in kind of the adult, there's a bunch of adult tables in this area, so it's kind of where you'd come and pull up either with a book or a laptop to do some work. The children's area entry is right here, and we've got a little defined entry into that, and then the back space of this whole building will be the children's area. Here's a really great look of the ceiling. This is an area that doesn't need any cleaning, and you can see the patina very nicely. So the wood again has naturally aged and darkened over time. So if you go and get a 2x4 from Home Depot, it's very light pine wood. But if you were to leave that pine wood out for 20 years, it would start to darken, and it continues to darken over the life of the wood. So you can tell this is some pretty old wood right here by the color of the actual pieces. Something that's interesting to note, you see these through bolts. So sometime in the 1990s, the school system took over the building and they made it a part of the Gwinnett County school system, and they had a structural engineer come in and reinforce each of these old trusses with the bolts. And one of the reasons that we have all of this white, it's chipboard mud on the trusses, is that the fire marshal wanted this center corridor to be a 1-hour partition. So we've removed all of the chipboard that was on the old vertical pieces there, and that's going to be open. So it's going to look pretty similar to what you see right now. Of course, we've got a bunch of rooftop units that we will be removing, and we're going to infill each of those areas. The idea is to save some of the old wood as we take down these center pieces. So it's called a cord. The bottom piece right here, the wood that stretches from one wall to the other, is not necessary structurally. So we're going to take those boards out, and those boards are going to be the ones that we use to repair some of the places in the old ceiling. You can see right here, here's another very nice section. This is right at the edge of the children's space. What I love, somebody came through at some point and this must have been a water leak, and they put new boards in there. I just really love that history. And then right here, maybe these were rooftop units or something, and they infilled with plywood. So depending on the amount of wood that we have left over, we may go back through, take that plywood out, and put in some of the old boards from the center corridor is the plan. But that's just kind of part of the history. These boards right here, see how they're lighter? So those were probably form boards for the concrete, and part of this building was the people that got together and built it were the local residents. So they're trying to save as much money as they can. So I bet what they did is they used these boards for the form boards. They took them off and then made them into the trusses on the wood ceiling. It's really pretty cool. You can see right here, this is definitely indication of this staining, the water staining on this truss. So the new boards above, that shows you that there was a water leak at one time. My bet is that was a rooftop unit, and it just started like this one right here, and started leaking. We're outside now looking at Scenic Highway in the distance. There's a tremendous amount of traffic that comes along that road. So in front of you will be all of the parking. There's kind of a upper tier of parking, a sloped section, which you can sort of start to make out in front of you. And then down here, there's a lower section of parking. The main entry from Neal Boulevard is pretty close to where this entry is now. And you'll come down a slight hill right here. They're gonna have to build this up, and there'll be some parking in front of the old building and the two-story exhibit building in the distance. The two-story exhibit building opens up onto Neal Boulevard, so it's got a second floor entry, and then part of the new building will kind of reach out over the old building, and there's gonna be a meeting room in the distance as well. So there should be some nice views from the second floor. You can see here all of the development around the library, which I think is a real great opportunity for people to be able to walk to the library. Just nice amenity for Lawrenceville. And then of course, they expect the library to kind of be a draw from Gwinnett County in a larger area with the exhibit. But yeah, guys, that's it. This is late April, in 2023. So if you guys are still watching, I appreciate you taking a look at our tour today, and stay tuned for more videos. We'll see you. Take care. Bye.